Hello, everybody. This is the Snowman, and we are live. It's high noon, the wrestling show. We are live at high noon. I'm the Snowman. This is the Flex Network, and this is our first episode. Yeah, we're kind of a little bit late on. I'm a little bit late on the show. Yesterday, I had problems, some little tidbit problems home wise, but we are live. This is we're gonna go through a whole lot leading up to the Clash of Champions today. So this is going to be a fun show. And normally I'm joined by Flex Matt, Flex Mike. But guess what? I'm solo. I'm running this show today. There ain't nobody joining me on this show today. So we get to we get a little bit more talking, a little bit more of what's going on today. And man, this is going to be a lot of fun. The Snowman is rolling solo. So let's talk. Let's talk. Let's get this going with let's go with Raw. As Monday Night Raw was very interesting to a very degree because it was the returning of not only to Madison Square Garden, not not only to MSG to New York for the first time in a couple years for the live show, broadcast show, but it was the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin, the rattlesnake, and he kicked off Raw with the mid the his mitigation role of the universal contract signing, the between Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. This was, very interesting to watch just because we got to see Austin and himself bring him his personal beer, his IPAs, just with them the whole night. It was great to watch. We got both Seth and Braun to come out, sign the contract, and unfortunately, these guys it didn't help. With Austin being there because everyone was watching Austin, watching wanting to say what every time he finished a sentence, or Seth or Braun finished a sentence, it was what, what. So it kind of didn't really help them at all, but it was fun to watch. After the contract gets signed, we get the group of the OC with AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Anderson coming out. This was a great, interaction with Austin and, AJ Styles, him trying to suck up to AJ Styles sucking up to Austin and be like getting what every time by the crowd. This was fun to watch. And of course, seeing the OC out there, trying to again interrupt, like whining and complaining about the fact that they're not in the tag team title match at Clash of Champions, and getting, and wanting to, just cause chaos, in which they do. They attacked again, second week in a row. They attacked Braun and Seth. Figure they get the jump on them, but they were ready this time, and surprisingly enough, AJ Styles thought, he after sending Seth over the top rope that, yeah, I'm the man and everything. But he gets a very not so chalant surprise because the only person left in the ring besides AJ Styles was a certain rattlesnake, a certain Texas rattlesnake in Stone Cold. And unfortunately for AJ, he got stunned by Stone Cold. So this whole the way that they kicked off Raw was awesome. The only like there were a couple other big points in the night. The other one would be the King of the Ring semifinal triple threat match between Baron Corbin, between ooh, Samoa Joe, and oh, it was it. It was Baron Corbin, Samoa Joe, and I completely forgot the other third person off the top of my head. It's one of those you kinda have to be in the moment kind of things. It's like, yes, King of the Ring, that Matt, this is, something of a big deal because this is the triple threat match for to the semifinals on Raw this past week. Actually, this week was the semifinals on both Raw and SmackDown. So this was a very important step in the King of the Ring tournament. And unfortunately, we got the worst part of the deal because on Raw, we saw Baron Corbin get the the final slot. Oh, and I now it was Ricochet. How can I forget about Ricochet? Ricochet was part of the triple threat match. And this was a great match to watch. It was a good match, very very fast paced, high exciting, and you were on the edge of your seat the entire time because you wanted. I will guess a lot of people did not want Samoa Joe to not win. They wanted him to win. They wanted either him or Ricochet to win. They didn't want Baron Corbin to win. No one wants Baron Corbin to win. This was the one match where we had to say this had to be the last stop for Baron Corbin because he thought he was going to get the bye last week after Joe and Ricochet got a double count out and they didn't move on in the King of the Ring. Normally that would be a bye if both individuals didn't get the pin, didn't get the submission, and it was a DQ or a count out, a double DQ or count out. So because it was a double pin by some hook or crook, we got a triple threat match. And this was a great match to watch. But of course, we saw the worst possible outcome because we saw Samoa Joe get thrown out, as he was pinning Ricochet, and we see Baron Corbin steal the victory and is moving on to the finals in the 2019 King of the Ring tournament. Also, the only other really good match of the night was the main event, which throughout the night we saw it build, with the OC, wanting to leave, and then we got uh Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, stepping in like, hey, why don't we, team up tonight and go after, we got common enemies. Why don't we go out, how about we have a match tonight with them? It's like, okay. So we get to see the OC, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, and they are going to be taking on the Viking Warrior Raiders. They're doing the Raw Tag Team Champions. They have Cedric Alexander, who earlier in the night was going after Austin stunned the hell out of Ricochet or out of AJ Styles. Gets a match immediately following with Cedric Alexander, and they it got interfered again. So Viking Raiders came out, interfered. or made the save for Cedric Alexander, and that everything leading up to the main event that night led to this 10-man tag. And ooh, I see we have a lovely comment. Where is Michael? Well, unfortunately, today I'm riding solo. This, I kind of hijacked the station, so I kind of changed the locks, and they're all outside looking in. So we get to main event time. It's the 10-man tag. This was a awesome match to end the night at Madison Square Garden. A great way. I highly recommend if you have, when if you have Hulu, go rewatch it. If you can find on YouTube, rewatch it. It was a good match to watch, an awesome match to watch to end the night. And it was crazy. I thought that one of the Viking Raiders near the end of the night was gonna I thought he committed a bad botch and he was gonna literally kill somebody when he came off the top rope. And you could if you go back and rewatch, you see him going up to the top rope. As he's making the jump, it looks like his left leg slips. That's on the rope, not on the turnbuckle itself, but it slips, and it just cannonballs himself. I thought he was gonna shortfall that, cannonball dive. It was just, it's like, oh my gosh, he got lucky. He got very lucky today at Raw. But the way that they ended the match with the lumbar check to AJ Styles, with Cedric Alexander delivering that awesome lumbar check to AJ Styles and getting the pinfall on the US champ the week of Clash of Champions, was a great way to set him up for the for a title match, which we're going to talk about later in the show. It's like, Matt, oh, yep, it's Clash of Champions week, and it is that time of the week. It's September. But as we go, now we're going to talk about SmackDown Live. We're going to get into SmackDown. And I'm not going to talk about the Bayley and Flair tagged, I'm not going to talk about the women's tag team match on Raw because it didn't help any, either one in their match, leading up to their match this Sunday in a couple days. It wasn't as important. It didn't hurt or didn't hinder anyone's character of how they're acting right now. So I'm not going to talk about that. It wasn't high on the radar for me. But the big impact about this SmackDown Live was the returning of the dead man, of the returning Undertaker, made his return to SmackDown. First time we've seen in a while that he is, coming back to his brand, the blue brand, and showing that he still got some stuff left in the chamber after the Saudi show again, facing Goldberg. He's still got some more in the chamber. And what's bad is that the one person you didn't think that was, you thought was maybe interfering in what the Undertaker was going to lay down, how he doesn't have much, that this, he's back home, and that he may not be coming back home as much often in the future because, he's getting up there in years. It's obvious. Who is the one person you would think would interfere in this, great moment to see the Undertaker, Madison Square Garden? And you get Sami Zayn to come out and poke at the Undertaker just to mess with him? No, that was not a smart decision with how Sami Zayn's being viewed and how he's, just this, feeling that every fan is so toxic and how he's not really, he's not with Kevin Owens right now. He's hanging out with Shinsuke Nakamura. And just seeing Sami Zayn come out and jab at the Undertaker and really lay down the disrespect of, say it's like, just go walk away, just have some dignity and just leave, with your head held high. And Undertaker's like, okay, here's the mic. He's like, okay, steps through the rope a little bit. He's like, and you see Sammy just when his back is turned to him, he's like, I got him. It's like, really? I got him. And then you see the mood change because Undertaker's like, "Yeah, nope, nope, not my, it ain't my time yet," and just choke slams the hell out of Sami Zayn, a cocky Sami Zayn, might I add. But Sami Zayn right now, I don't think he's kind of in that limbo. He's still being seen on TV. He's, being a running buddy of Shinsuke, but he's not doing anything. He's just, you know, there's nothing for him at this point right now. It's just, something for him to do. And Michael, we have, with a comment of plus he's Canadian. Yeah, it would be different if it was up in Canada, but the fact is that they were in at Madison Square Garden in New York. I don't think that was the thing to really get him over. But the we go from Undertaker returning and as Sami Zayn wasteful disrespecting and interfering, promo to go to the final King of the Ring semifinal match, which we all thought was going to be at Clash of Champions. The finals was going to be at on this Sunday, which got moved to next Monday. So next Monday will be the finals of the King of the Ring tournament, and that's an awesome way to get more viewers on Monday. But you're going to be going up against Monday Night Football, so this will be something very interesting to watch because of where it is on the schedule for just as Monday Night Football is, ending? Is it, right in the middle? Or is it near the end of the night in the main event? So, but we need our SmackDown representative. And the matchup between Elias and Chad Gable, I thought was going to be, it was going to be an okay match. But as we found out early in the night, Elias got injured and he's not going to be a part of the semifinals. And Shane McMahon comes in and is looking for Chad Gable. It's like, oh, I can't see him. Oh, there you are. And decides, hey, well, Elias has allowed me to pick a substitute for him, for him to take his place on SmackDown for the semifinals. And he's right outside. And let me go bring him in. Surprise! It's me, Shane McMahon. Shane becomes the replacement for Elias, and that was just so out of left field. I mean, granted, we did see this at be- in the Best in the World tournament last year. He pulled that off with in the in the finals with the Miz and went on this power trip. Now, if you think this was not another opportunity for more power trip hungry Shane McMahon to just continue to feed off of and be known as not only the best in the world, but now to be known as the best in the world slash king of the ring, this would be the worst possible thing for anyone to do. And luckily, Shane had the bright idea to give Kevin Owens an opportunity to revoke his $1,000 fine from several weeks ago. And that is to become a special guest referee in their match in the King of the Ring semifinals. And you just knew, okay, now it's official. He has to help Shane. He has to allow Chad Gable to get screwed in the semifinals to set up a Baron Corbin Shane McMahon final next Monday on Raw. And the match was great. It was a great match, a good match to watch. I mean, granted, the setup for it was not. It was kind of bad, not really entertaining whatsoever to begin with. I mean, because you knew Shane was just gonna try to get the screw job in on Chad because he's been working so hard through this tournament and he's been succeeding. But what I can say is that the fact that KO didn't play favorites, I mean, eventually, he did, to a degree, but it wasn't like nonchalant, like I'm not screwing you over, but Shane gets pinned early in the match. And Shane's like, he does get the count. It's like, no, 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 no. This match is going to be 2 out of 3 falls. It's like, Chad's like, okay, I can handle a 2 out of 3 falls match. And we move on. Shane, it gets locked, gets a couple pinfall attempts, and you could see KO just, trying to, show that he's helping Shane. And we get later in the match, KO has the opportunity while Shane McMahon's in the ankle lock to not really do anything, but Shane taps and you see KO just point to the ref, to the bell to ring the bell. And it's like, just stand there. And we know that, Chad Gable wins. And we see that we're going to get next Monday, we're going to get Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin in the finals for the King of the Ring. And that was a great, thing to see. KO didn't screw him. He didn't, hinder or do anything to intentionally screw him. And because of that, not helping Shane and not allowing him to be King of the Ring in this stupid way, Shane McMahon beats up KO and just fires him on the spot after beating him up again. And this is gonna you kind of saw this coming with KO getting, not helping Shane and all this, talk between these two guys and the problems that they've had for years. You knew it was going to come down to Shane just screwing him over. So we move on from that, and that was the main event. So I'm kind of going around the bend of different areas for both shows. And Bayley versus Ember Moon that night, with Charlotte, doing commentary. Again, didn't really, really help or hinder, Bayley, in my view, as, her and Ember Moon, had a great match at SummerSlam for the title. Bayley walked out with the title in a great match. And just to see a change of attitude with Bayley, trying to, play it off as, oh, I'm doing this for, our brand, to make the SmackDown Women's Championship as best as it could be, to be the top talkative brand. And the way that she's handling it with, sticking by her friend in Sasha Banks, and just this somewhat new attitude. I like it, going into Clash of Champions and then seeing this new Bailey, but it's now, she's starting to play it off as, "Oh, I'm the hero. I'm supposed to, uh, show your kids, friendship and how to treat your buddies." That kinda sounds like a something from the past a little bit, like something from long ago from a certain Pink and Black, "Best there is, best there was, and best there ever will be" mantra from, a couple our last episode, or with, Bret Hart, trying to, be hero in a kinda different, vibe with the fans, so yeah, it's kinda playing into that. Uh, and the only thing I liked about this match was that Charlotte was down there, to, get a bird's eye view of her competition, of her fellow four horsewoman in this title match to get ready for Clash of Champions. But other than that, it was a good match to watch. And again, didn't hinder, Bailey's, attitude change as far as I saw. And then the only other highlight of SmackDown was the reappearing moment from 10 years ago, '09, with Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton going at it in the crowd, and Kofi getting the boom drop on Orton again in the Garden. I mean, this was a great moment to rewatch and to relive again 10 years later, and it helps with the story of their 10-year rivalry with from years ago, of how Kofi was, he made his mark at that night in the Garden 10 years ago with that one boom drop on Randy Orton, and he was supposed to go on and, you know, elevate his career from, being Intercontinental Champion and Tag Team Champion to try to get into that world title picture, but it didn't happen. We had to wait 10 years for that to happen with The New Day and Kofi getting that title match at WrestleMania this year against Daniel Bryan. And the rivalry through, to challenge Randy Orton at SummerSlam, and ended up being a disqualification, or a double count out with both of them, and just, continuing this rivalry. It was a good, moment to watch. And that was SmackDown, on Tuesday. So normally, if we're going to talk about, the two main brands, we're just going to go straight into the pay-per-view, build up for the pay-per-view. No, I'm going to talk about the Black and Gold brand. That's right. We're going to actually talk on on the Flex Network about both NXT and the UK brand. This is a brand I love. I love NXT. I love NXT UK. They are providing the most awesome wrestling, period. The takeovers are, good God, they raise the bar on every pay-per-view, even on like WrestleMania weekend, or SummerSlam weekend, Rumble weekend, or Survivor Series weekend. They always bring the A game. And on UK, they just got done with NXT Takeover Cardigan. That was a hell of a pay-per-view to watch on the network. So I'm gonna stick on the NXT side, our version first, and this was being built up as, Johnny Gargano, what his future is going to be in NXT. Is he, after his, coming up short at NXT Takeover Toronto, on SummerSlam weekend. We weren't gonna we didn't know if this was Johnny Gargano's last appearance in the black and gold brand, or if he was gonna, get called up to the main roster, if he was gonna get, on Raw or SmackDown. And recently the call ups to the main brand haven't gone as well as you could say for the veteran guys of NXT. And it's there's been some occasion of where it has worked, it hasn't worked, but right now it's kind of feeling like NXT is starting to be it's like a main brand you want to be a part of. And heck, we've even gotten guys from the main roster coming back down to NXT just because they're going to be going live. And this was the last taped show at Full Sail. This was the last taped show before next week they will go live on the USA Network. And what a way to try to end, your final non-live NXT show this week. And oh, Matt, AEW battling NXT will be mega epic. Yes, it will be, Matt. This on Wednesday with or this next Wednesday, NXT will be moving to uh live on Wednesdays on the USA Network. And then next month, AEW is going to get into the mix on Wednesdays with their live show on TNT on the Turner Network. So we're going to be going click, click. We're going to be channel surfing again. We're going to be going back and forth again. So this will be Monday night, the Wednesday Night Wars, and it's going to be very interesting to see what AEW is going to be bringing to the table for their first show. That's going to be live and what they're going to, throw out the door. And Matt, again, for, the podcast users, what is my take now with NXT going to be a real brand? And do you think they will keep guys there now? Yeah, I think that this is going to be kind of the third, like the established third brand, because that the actual live show is going to be still at Full Sail. It's not going to be like Raw and SmackDown where they travel, but the shows are going to be traveling. They're still going to come to town. And today, on the 13th, today is the 13th of September, tickets have gone on sale for the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest's showings of NXT when they come up next month. So go out and get your tickets. That is an awesome, because they're gonna hit Portland, they're gonna hit Seattle, they're gonna hit Vancouver. Anytime NXT comes up here to the Pacific Northwest, up here in Seattle, it's a great show. They're at the Paramount. It is awesome to go and watch. So I suggest, if you live in the West Coast, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, if you live in Vancouver, if you live in Oregon, if you live in Seattle or surrounding area of Seattle, go get your tickets. This is a great chance to see the NXT brand, period. It is awesome. But and again, this is going to be established third brand where maybe people are going to want to come back from, the main roster, come back from Raw and SmackDown and go to NXT, go back to the black and gold brand and make that as best as possible, because they're staying at one spot. They're not traveling. They're not doing the traveling show because Full Sail. One second. I guess someone didn't like the phone call that trying to interrupt me. They got what they deserve. Sorry about that. But again, this is going to be a great opportunity for a lot of this talent to get, more exposure in Florida and get, give something back to that brand. It's going to be awesome to watch on Wednesdays. And I'll get to what has been announced for next Wednesday, the live show next Wednesday after, in a little bit after I go over this following episode, which Gargano was going to announce what his intentions were, if he was going to stay with the brand or he's leaving. Well, someone wanted to know too, but more like it's time for you to leave. And Shane Thorne came down and he was like basically saying to Gargano, it doesn't, it's time, Gargano. It's time for you to make your leave, because when you leave, this place will be better, and will be better because of me. Well, Johnny Gargano didn't really think, too highly of that, because he made his decision and he's staying with NXT, and super kicks the heck out of him. And how he, just declares that he's going to be NXT with the NXT for life was awesome. And just to go off of the, just to end his segment and to see that was awesome. And now that to come on and see on Twitter that he wants to, hope that Shop is listening, and WWEshop.com is listening, to make a NXT for life shirt. That's something everyone's going to be buying. It's going to be, it should be a fun time down there, NXT, now that Johnny Wrestling is staying on the brand. And we actually got a hell of a match in the women's division with Rhea Ripley from the UK brand stepping up to the champ herself in Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades. And this was a great match good match to watch. It certainly was a dominating effort of Rhea Ripley for her, being the first ever United Kingdom Women's Champion, and then coming over here and wanting to, put some screws into Shayna Baszler, as, she's the tough one here. She's the champ. And earlier, William Regal had already made, and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit after the match, that gives that if Ripley was going to could win her match, then next week we would have a 5-way number 1 contenders match. But unfortunately, she gets disqualified after Shayna's friends, her fellow horsewomen, the MMA style horsewomen, come in and interfere, toss in a chair, and Rita uses the chair on Shayna and gets herself DQ'd. But I don't think this will be the last time we're going to see Shayna and Rhea and Ripley go at it. This is something I would love to see again, because, titles on the line and there's no interference. We're going to get a good match. But for next week's show, the live edition of NXT, we are going to see not 1, not 2, not 3, but a 4-way. We're going to get a 4-way match for the number 1 contendership of the women's title on NXT. It will be Mia Yim. I have to get my notes out because I'm professional like that. It will be Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, Mia Yim, and Bianca Belair in a 4-way for the opportunity at a title match with Shayna Baszler down the line. And not only that, but within the first hour of the show, we're going to get a street fight match between Killian Dane and the bro of NXT, Matt Riddle, in a street fight. Actually, sorry, this will be in the second hour on the network. My bad. First hour, we're gonna at least see the Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong for the North America Championship, and we're also gonna get a Street Profit tag team title rematch against Undisputed Era. So this is already shaping up to be a hell of a night next Wednesday on the USA Network and on the network itself. So this will be a great opportunity for you guys to experience, those of you who don't have the network and what have you been missing on the network, to get not watch NXT. This is a brand you want to get behind and just throw your money at it. Just it's like, take my money. I want to keep watching this stuff. It's awesome. Now I want to shift over to the UK brand because they're also putting on dynamite shows. And for just starting up, recently and only having 2 takeovers, this is a brand that you also want to pay attention to, because these guys, the British style of wrestling is unbelievable. And they already have the United Kingdom Championship with Walter, the beastly just giant of Walter, who, if you go back and watch how he got this title with his classic match with Pete Dunne, the longest United Kingdom champion and the longest champion we've had in a long time, period. This guy's a beast. He will make the chops, those Ric Flair chops, those Big Show chops to the chest. Good God, sounds like a shotgun going off twice. But of course, they have their tag team titles established. They have their women's division established. And just go back and watch this. The tag team title match this week was an awesome match to watch. High flying, very, strong style match. It was a awesome opportunity for these guys to enhance themselves with seeing Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster versus the grizzled young veterans. This was a great match, a great main event match, tag team title match to watch. Go back and watch it. And we also found out that next week the assistant to the general manager, a very small young gentleman by the name of Sid Skeely, will be facing Cassius Ohno, an established NXT veteran of the brand from both the UK and the original NXT, are going to go in, have a match, and a very unique match. For the first time ever, we're going to see a British rounds match. And I am gonna guarantee you guys, I'm getting a lot of head scratching moments. I'm seeing wait, what in the blue hell is a British rounds match? And I'm interested as well because I've never heard of this, because I don't live in the UK. I have never seen a British rounds match. But the British rounds match style has some rules, and goes by this. They are 6 3-minute rounds. Let me repeat that. 6 3-minute rounds with a 30-second break in between. Now, you would think, okay, it's an Iron Man match kind of thing. You gotta win, get pinfalls. It's a veteran. Yes, it kind of is. But in order to win, the winner has to have the following. They have to have 2 pinfalls, You got to have two submission tap outs. You have to have a knockout, and you must be ahead in the falls at the end of the last round. So, again, this will be something to watch next week on the UK brand because you got to have a knockout, two pinfalls, and two submissions before the end of the final round. So there's going to be some very interesting chess and maneuverability to how this is going to be played out. And I don't know what I'm expecting. I know I'm going to expect a good match, especially with Cassius Ono, the knockout artist. But this will be a good taste of how British style wrestling's, how a set of, this match is going to be. This is going to be a very good match to watch. Now, now we've gone through the week. We've gone through SmackDown, Raw. We've gone through NXT UK. What's there left, on this show, on this episode? What to do? What to do? Oh, that's right. This week is the week of the Clash of Champions. We're gonna go down the lineup before we head out. We're gonna go through the card lineup. And what's this? We're gonna I actually have some video with you. And the Clash card goes like this. We're gonna have the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the line between the New Day versus the Revival. They're going to go at it for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships with Xavier Woods and Big E on as the New Day. The next matchup, this is going to be a heck of a match to watch. SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and we don't know what's going to be on the kickoff show yet. So this can get moved over to the kickoff, or it could be on the main card. But again, this will be a good match to watch. The next matchup at Clash will be a triple threat match for the cruiserweights. They're going to get, some more action. And this is the only night of the year that every single title on the brand, on Raw and SmackDown, are getting defended. So this will be a heck of a match to watch with the champ, Drew Gulak, defending against Lince Dorino and Humberto Carrillo. I'm not the best, sayer of words, to it. I know I'm chopping his name up, but it's not good, but I'm doing the best I can, trying to say these two gentlemen's names. But this will be a heck of a matchup. More than likely, it will be on the kickoff show. Just for past experience, cruiserweight titles are normally on the kickoff show. And even more strange of what the word is coming down is that 205 Live might be being nixed and moving them over to the Black and Gold brand. So that's, it's a rumor. I'm not 100% sure, but this will be something of interesting value to enhance NXT just a little bit more. But again, just rumors. We haven't had a full, we don't know yet what the future holds for, the cruiserweight division and what's going on there. As we, head into, the next match at Clash of Champions with the Intercontinental Championship, the Miz is going to go after the IC title again against Shinsuke Nakamura. This will be a good match in its as the Intercontinental Championship is celebrating its 40th year of existence. This will be a good match to watch. The Raw Women's Championship match. Sasha Banks challenging the man, Becky Lynch, for the title. Again, another great match to watch with the return of Sasha and, just staking her claim that it's the boss's time. It's the man's time is over. It's her time to regain Raw as her show. Awesome. Uh, the next match will be the only non-title match for the Clash. It will be Roman Reigns and Eric Rowan in a no disqualification match. And what if they're going to do what they did on SmackDown, literally just chaos and destruction? This will be a match you want to get some popcorn for, because these guys are going to throw everything and everybody into the win. This will be a match you want to pay attention because of how everything's been going on with these two. May have not liked how it's been going, but it's something you want to, keep an eye on. And then the only time you're going to see again a double champion not only defend his tag team, but he's going to defend his world title. Seth Rollins is pulling double duty, and Seth will be tagging with Braun Strowman to face Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode for the SmackDown Tag Team for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This was a very interesting match to watch, just because of how brand new Dolph and Bobby Roode are going to mesh as a tag team. This will, it's going to be a good one. But not only that, we're going to see Seth and Braun again, but this time for the Universal title. And I'm going to like this match a lot. It's going to be an eventual setup to whoever wins will be facing a very out of this, psychotic world, the psychotic Mr. Rogers at Hell in a Cell next week, or next pay-per-view next month. My bad. And we're going to see them inside Hell in a Cell. That's going to be so it will be the winner of this match versus The Fiend inside Hell in a Cell. I can't wait to see who comes out top on this match. The women's tag team championships will also be defended, with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending against Fire and Desire. That will be a great match to watch. The U.S. title will be on the line. AJ Styles will defend against Cedric Alexander. This will be an awesome match to watch as well. And the women's title on SmackDown will be defended as well, with Bayley against Charlotte. Now, unfortunately for Charlotte, I don't think this is the best time for her to get back into the title picture. We just got done with her and you know her and Bayley going at it again from Money in the Bank. She lost the title to Bayley, and Bayley's now been facing uh Ember Moon, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss. I mean, there's more women on SmackDown. I believe Charlotte needs to take a break. You know, maybe go do, take, go do something. Go relax. Go take some time off, because she's been getting a lot of title matches, and I understand she's the queen and she just got done with beating Trish Stratus at SummerSlam, but you know what? Take a break. Come back after a while, when we see, give Naomi a title shot, give Carmella another title shot, an opportunity to get back to the title picture. This was just a very bad, time to get Charlotte into the match, into a title shot. And then the main event, for SmackDown, is Kofi Kingston is Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, and this is going to be a great match to watch for the WWE title. I don't know if this will be the end of Kofi's. I think this, is going to be leaning a little bit towards Kofi, but of course, Viper, he just has to hit one move, 3 letters, RKO, and he is the WWE champion again. I think this is going to be Kofi's continuing saga for the title. He's going to keep it, and he's going to go into Hell in a Cell next month with the title. And that's the Clash of Champions rundown. That is the entire match card as we as this show is, nearing its end for the first week. I had really thought that this was going to be, a little bit longer, but I managed to throw a week's worth of, content into under an hour. I think I have a new record for myself. But of course, again, this is just our first episode of Wrestling at High Noon. We're gonna bring it to you every Thursday. Yes, I know I said Thursday. I had little hiccup in my personal life with, at the house, so I couldn't do it yesterday. So I swear I will try, we will get this more often on Thursdays. And I know some of you are going to be like, wait a minute, well, this is the first we've seen you this week. What happened to your top 15 episodes? Well, we decided we are going to take a break this week. We wanted to introduce this show. But we will be back next week. I will have either Flex Mike or the boss, Matt. I will have either one of those two on the show, and we will continue to go through the top 15 list. So don't worry, the wrestling content is getting adjusted because we're going to Tuesdays now. We're actually switching the show to Tuesdays. We're going from Wednesday nights, and we're switching over to Tuesdays. So we're doing some stuff here, and of course, I know that Matt and the boys will have their flex, their fantasy football content up as we get closer and closer to Sunday and have their episode. They'll have their show on Sunday morning for those of you who are going to be watching on fantasy football and keeping track of that. Go check out these guys. They're a hoot and a half. But otherwise, I think I've got everything I need to say on this episode. So normally, I would have someone to take me out, but with me being solo, I don't want to just fade to dark. I think I just need to end this on a good note. It's the first episode. And of course, in a couple months, we're gonna have that lovely Bret the Hitman Hart Royal Rumble contest. So follow, tweet, subscribe, 5-star us, retweet, just do anything to make sure you can get into the Rumble in January. But eventually we're going to come out with the full details of how you qualify, how you get into the Rumble and how it's going to work. But we got more time to figure this out. It's just a slow process. But again, just retweet, follow, and like us and 5-star us on on the podcast, applications that you can. Just get the word out. So for that is the end for me. I'm going to end this show. I think I got lunch coming. Yeah, I'll take that. So for the Flex Network, I am the Snowman, and you can find me on Twitter at AJS Dead Snow on Twitter. I'll be on the Flex Network. But again, I'm out of here. They're giving me the hook. It's like, you gotta cut it. So again, I will see you next week. We'll be back next week on Tuesday and Thursday. And come back and join us again for Wrestling at High Noon on the Flex Network. Peace.